How's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's stick mobility class. I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me for today. So for today's class, we are going to need 2 long sticks. We are going to get into a deadlift variation today. That's going to be a fun one. Okay, we're also going to get into some floor-based drills. We're going to get into a single leg bridge with a press here as well, okay? We're first going to go through our warm-ups. So what we're going to do here, since we are going to go into some lower body movements, we want to make sure we warm up the feet and ankles first. Okay, now what I want to do from here, I'm going to take a relatively wide stance. I want to make sure I'm a little wider than shoulder width here, and I want my feet to be facing forward. Okay, I'm going to have the stick directly in front or in line with my center line here. Okay, now I want the bottom of the stick to be angled in a bit, and I'll actually turn from the side so you can kind of get that vision here. Okay, so I want the stick angled in a bit. I want my hands at roughly about sternum height. I'm going to squat down a little bit, and I want to make sure my pelvis is stacked under my spine here, staying up nice and tall. So what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to bring both heels up, and I want to make sure all 5 toes are in contact with the floor. Now we're going to hold up top here for a second, okay? So to make sure we're staying in a really good stable position, I'm going to slowly bring my heels back down. Good. We're going to go up again. So notice that the height or level of my hips do not change. You want to try to keep it as stable as possible. Slowly come back down. Good. Let's go again. Up nice and tall. Good. Back down. Excellent. Let's go up 2 more times. Up. Nice and tall. Okay. Good. Back down. Let's go one last time here. Up. Good. Down nice and slow. And we're going to ease off here. Okay. Perfect. So you're probably going to get a little bit of the quads working there too, right? Get a little bit of a warm up. And so now what I want to do here, we're actually just going to transition into getting in some different flow and different movements here. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have my right foot forward first, okay? I'm going to have my left foot back, and I'm going to have it back in a pretty big split, okay? Now, the objective of this is to make sure that we're, for one, in a really good stable position, and for 2, we're actually going to be rotating towards our back leg, so we're going to rotate to our left. And as we do that, we're going to pull the stick back to get some extension and some rotation here, okay? So what I want to do, I'm going to get in this split stance, okay? Back leg is going to be pretty far back. I want to have my hand gripping the stick with the rope grip here. What I'm going to do with the stick about roughly a foot away from the heel of my right foot, I'm going to reach down towards the bottom of the stick, okay? And then what I'm going to do from here, make sure I'm keeping this right knee driving outwards. I'm going to shift back and lean into that right leg here. And I want to pull the stick apart. Good. Then I'm going to come out and up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch hands. Stick stays where it's at, okay? But now what I'm going to do, I'm going to reach up a little higher. I'm going to go back into that same type of movement. Right knee goes out, and I want to pull top of the stick back, pulling the stick apart, squeezing that left glute. Good. Slowly come out, back up. Let's go ahead and switch our hands again. Okay, left hand up, right hand down. Drive that right knee out. Lean into that right side, that right leg. Pull the stick apart. Get that upper back active. We're going to feel the shoulder activate. Good. Come back up. Switch hands. Right hand's up now. Reach towards the bottom of the stick. Drive that right knee out. Squeeze that left glute. Pull the stick behind. Good. Good. Come up. And we're going to switch legs. Okay? So actually go with more of a forward position here, so you can kind of see what that looks like from the front. So left foot's in front here, okay? Right foot is back. You don't want that stick set up in the same position. So again, so about a foot from the heel of that front foot here. So left foot is forward. The bottom of the stick is about a foot away from it. Okay. I'm going to grip that stick here. Okay. And I'm going to reach down, grab on the inside here, thumb facing down towards the floor. Okay. Drive that left knee out. Pull the stick apart. Make sure you breathe. Slowly ease off. Come up. Now we're going to place some switch hands. Okay, go back down, same thing. Squeeze that right glute. Pull the stick back. Good. Ease off. Come back up. Switch hands. Right hand up. Left hand at the bottom of the stick. Thumb down's grip. Pull back, pull apart. Gonna get quite a bit of rotation here. Good. Back up. Switch hands. Right hand down. Pull the stick apart and pull back. Squeeze that right glute. Get that hip extension. 3, 2, 1. Good. Slowly come out. And relax. Awesome. Good. So now what we're going to do here, we're going to open up that T-spine here. Okay. So what we want to go with is, for one, make sure we're hinging at the hips. Okay. But also extending the spine as much as we can. So we're just going to focus on opening up those erectors. What we're going to do as well is we're going to work the pelvis as we're in that extended position. So, and again, I'll go from the side here so you can kind of see what that looks like. I'm going to have the sticks roughly about shoulder width apart, maybe a slight bit wider. I actually do want to angle this, have the sticks going out in almost like a Y shape, just a little bit here, okay? I don't want them too close. Sticks are about roughly 8 to 10 inches from the, from the line of my toes here. Hands are roughly about shoulder height. You can always start up higher if it's more comfortable for you. What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to simply hinge back. So I want to make sure I keep my knees out and open, okay? And I'm going to drive my hips back and reach forward with my hands. Now I should be getting a stretch in the T-spine here and a mid-back. Trying to extend the chest down to the floor. Going to come back up. Excellent. Now we're going to start moving the pelvis here, doing pelvic tilts. So we're going to do anterior, posterior tilts here, okay? Going to go back to that same position, drive those hips back, reach out with those hands. Good. Once you get to that position, I want you to tuck your pelvis in, posterior tilt, then do an anterior tilt. Movement's not going to be that big, okay? We're trying to focus on that pelvic movement. Posterior tilt, roll the pelvis under, try to squeeze the glutes, anterior tilt, try to tighten up those mid and low back muscles, posterior tilt. Good. Anterior tilt. Good. Back to center. Back to neutral. Come back up. Good. So we're going to go into that again. This time we're going to basically do a spinal roll here. We're going to roll, as we do a posterior tilt, we're going to slowly roll back up into a tall position here, okay? So, same thing, drive the hips back, reach those hands out. Make sure you breathe. Now from here, tuck the pelvis in, slowly roll up, flexing the entire spine. To a nice tall position. Okay? Now we're going to do the opposite direction. So we're going to really roll that T-spine here. Slowly roll the rest of the spine. all the way back into that position of extension. Slowly come out. Excellent. Good. Again, a little bit of a different movement there, but just trying to get some fluidity in the spine here. Okay? So now we're going to focus on the hamstrings a little bit. And again, this is just because we are going to get into a hip hinging pattern. So we're going to focus on going through bits of activation here. Okay? So I'm going to start with my feet together. Okay? And we're going to go into that hamstring stretch, but we're going to focus on getting more activation here as we go along. So I'm going to have my right foot a couple inches forward in front of the toes of my left foot. I want the sticks to be angled out beyond the toes of my right foot here. Okay, so about roughly 6 inches. So I want to make sure my left foot is planted. Okay, and I'm not crossing my right foot over to my left. My right foot is just directly in front of where it was before. I want to keep that ankle dorsiflexed. And what I want to do is I want to keep this knee soft as well. I'm going to slowly slide my hips back. Once I find that position of a stretch, I'm going to drive that heel into the floor with 20% tension. Because again, we're trying to activate being in that elongated position here. I'm going to ease off that tension, and I'm going to come back up. We're going to do that again, but we're going to increase that tension here. So, same thing. Drive those hips back. Okay, guide yourself down the sticks. Push the heel into the floor, 30%. Breathe. Ease off. Gonna come back up. Nice and slow. Excellent. Let's go again. Okay, last one. Let's go 40%. So drive those hips back. Good. Push the heel into the floor. Drive that heel down. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back up. Ease off. Now we're going to switch sides, okay? So when I say drive the heel into the floor, think about like you're trying to kick back, right? That's kind of that motion. It's just to make sure, again, we can actually connect to that hamstring a little bit more here. So feet together, I'm going to place my left heel a couple inches in front of my right foot, okay? Again, keep that knee soft. It's really important to keep that knee soft here. And so what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to drive my hips back, okay? Guide myself down the stick. Again, once I find that position of a stretch, start with 20%, drive that heel into the floor. Good, you're going to ease off. Going to come back up. Good. Okay, let's go 2 more. Let's go to 30%. Okay, remember, keep that ankle dorsiflexed. Toes are up. Drive those hips back. Good. Drive the heel down. 30%. Good. Ease off. Back up. Awesome. Let's go one more time here. Okay. Drive those hips back. Good. Drive the heel into the floor, 40%. 3, 2, 1. We're going to slowly ease off. And relax. Good. Okay. And so now we're going to do here, we're going to focus on some rotation, but we're going to go to a half kneeling position. So I'm going to place one of the sticks down. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is this is going to be kind of similar to the world's greatest stretch. Okay. Somewhat similar, not the same thing. And so what I'm going for here, and I'll step over here, I'll come over here a little bit more so in frame, is I want to create a pretty big split between my hips. So I'm going to bring this right leg back, okay? And so what I'm going to do I want the stick to be right in front of my right hip here, okay? Because the stick is gonna be a guide for me to reach, okay? So, the objective here, I wanna have my hand up tall, okay? So from here, I'm already in a kind of an extended position in the spine. My rib cage is kind of opening up a little bit here. And what I wanna do, I wanna shift my weight forward. I can slide my hand down a stick as need be, shift my weight forward and squeeze that right glute, okay? Now I'm gonna tuck that pelvis in. You're gonna get a huge stretch, okay, on the front of the hip flexor. Now I'm gonna do from here, I'm going to bring my elbow down on the inside of my right leg. I'm gonna rotate this right hand back, okay? And I'm gonna grab the bottom of the stick with my left hand, okay? And I wanna keep driving that right hip towards the floor. Good, I'm gonna slowly ease off. Good, we're gonna go again, okay? Same way. So, same thing, squeeze that glute, drive that right hip forward, get that stretch in the front of the hip here. Bring that left elbow on the inside of the left leg. Good. Then I'm going to grab the bottom of the stick. Good. 3, 2, 1. Going to ease off. Slowly come up. Excellent. And now we're going to switch sides. Okay? So the reason why we're doing this here, I know it's kind of similar to the one we did before, we're actually trying to trap it down, and a lot of the focus now is actually really getting on that hip as well as a rotation, okay? So, try to get in that same position, okay? Stick is in front of the left hip here, left hand's up, okay? And I'm gonna do is squeeze that left glute and drive my hips forward, tucking the pelvis as well, okay? We'll try to keep that pelvis in check here. I'm gonna take my right elbow, place it on the inside of my right leg, drive out, grab the bottom of the stick with my right hand, good, breathe, 3, 2, 1, slowly come out, and up, excellent, we're gonna go one more time here, okay? So, squeeze that left glute, drive that left hip forward. Good. Make sure that glute stays tight here. Okay, trying to lock that hip into extension. I'm going to take my right elbow, bring it on the inside, my right leg, drive it out, grab the bottom of the stick with my right hand. Okay. Rotate. Keep that glute tight. 3, 2, 1, good. Slowly ease off, come back up, and relax. Awesome, good. So now we're gonna do here, we're gonna get into the deadlifts, or a deadlift variation here. So we're gonna need both sticks. And so I want the sticks to be behind me, okay? That's the objective. And so, I should make sure I'm in a good spot here. So the kettlebells are gonna act as the corner of a wall here, okay? So the objective here is to make sure that, for one, we're keeping everything as tight as we can, but we're also making sure we're getting the right activating parts here. So we're gonna do a few reps at a conventional style deadlift, and then we're gonna do a few reps at a sumo style deadlift, which is gonna be, everybody's gonna be individual there, okay? So, we're gonna go with the conventional style. So I wanna have my feet, I tend to personally go with my feet roughly about hip width, okay? And it's okay if you have a little bit of a slight toe out angle, that's okay, okay? That's typically what I do a little bit for myself. And so what I'm gonna do here, my hands, I wanna make sure that my hands are right in front of my hips here, okay? So positioning the hands makes a difference. And so I'm going to start from the top position, okay? And I want to make sure I stay up tall. I want to keep my arms straight. Now I'm going to do from here, I'm going to drive the sticks back with 50% tension, and I want to make sure I'm gripping the ground with my toes here, okay? Now I'm going to do from here, I'm going to start to drive my hips back, okay? And I'm going to be having the sticks on the outside of my legs here so I can push my knees out. And as the sticks get to my knees, I'm going to start to squat down a bit. So driving those sticks back with 50% tension. Your hands are in front and that's okay, but again, we're trying to pack those lats in. So keep driving those sticks back. Now I'm going to stand back up, driving my feet into the floor, all the way up, extend the hips, squeeze those glutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ease off. Good. Okay, so you kind of got a little bit of an idea for the movement. Let's increase that tension, okay? So now we're going to start the first actual working rep. So, arms straight, okay? Drive the sticks back 75%. Keep those shoulders down. You're going to feel your lats turn on. Start to hinge the hips back, guiding the sticks down your legs, down the outside of your legs. Once you get to your knees, start to squat down a bit. Good. Keep driving those sticks back. Push. Feet stay active. Stand back up. Driving those knees out. Squeeze the glutes at the top. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Good. Let's go 2 more here. Okay. Let's keep that tension at 75%. Drive those hands back. Hinge. Make sure those feet are active. Okay. Knees out. Once you get to mid-shin, hold. Keep driving those sticks back. Good. Slowly come up. Squeeze those glutes. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Let's go 1 more here, okay? Drive those sticks back. Arms straight. Okay, make sure those feet are active. Drive the hips back. Hinge. Once you get below the knee, start to squat down a bit. Good. Hold. Keep pushing those sticks back. 3, 2, 1. Stand back up. Good. Squeeze the glutes at the top. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Good. Now we're going to get into the Sumo Variation. This is where things get quite a bit tricky. And so I'm going to bring both my feet or both my legs outside the sticks. Again, this is where things get a little bit tricky. So the sticks are going to be in the same position that they were before, okay? Now what's going to be a little different here is I actually want to utilize my inner thigh to act as a way to isometrically pull the sticks going out and at the same time driving back, okay? So for some of those, so for some of you who enjoy doing like sumo type of lifts, this will be pretty beneficial here. So for this, I'm actually going to start at the bottom. So I'm going to get in whatever sumo stance is most comfortable for me, okay? If you like going a little bit more narrow, you definitely can, okay? So for the sumo stance, feet are going to be angled out. We want to make sure that we're driving those knees out, getting that external rotation here. Now at the bottom here, what I want to do is I want to make sure that my hands are, again, about a couple inches from the space of my thigh here, okay? And so from here, what I'm going to do, again, same cues. I want to make sure that I'm driving the sticks back, pulling the shoulders down, and I want to externally rotate. So I'm going to drive those knees out away from one another. You're going to feel those lats activate, okay? I'm going to slowly press my feet into the floor, coming up, and I'm only at 50% tension here. I want to come up to the top, and I want to squeeze my glutes and drive my knee, my quads in, or my legs in, and I'm going to ease off. Okay? You can adjust your hands if you want to feel a little bit more flex in the stick here. So I'm going to bring my hands out a little bit more. Okay? Start from the bottom again. So knees need to remain going outwards. Okay? Same thing. We're going to drive those sticks back. Okay, make sure I'm good here. Drive the sticks back. 75% tension. Get those knees out. Slowly come up. Drive those feet into the floor. Squeeze the glutes. Push, or you pull the sticks out away from one another. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Good. What happens is when you pull those sticks out away from one another, that creates more demand on the glutes because you not only have to stand up, but you have to fight that resistance, right? So let's go 2 more here. Hands out. Okay, same thing. Drive the sticks back. Arms straight. Keep those knees out. Stand up. Up, up, up. Squeeze those glutes. Pull those knees apart. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. Let's go 1 more rep here. Okay, you guys are doing wonderful. Okay, start from that starting position here. Come down to the bottom. Right. So, same thing. Knees out. Drive the sticks back. 75% tension. Stand up. Up. Good. Squeeze those glutes. Drive sticks apart. 3, 2, 1. Good. Ease off. Excellent. Okay. So the variation is a little tricky to get down. Let's go wiggle those feet in. But that's a way you can kind of work on kind of priming a sumo deadlift if you do not have a rack to kind of use a stick to prime into. Okay. So I'm going to place 1 stick down. And now we're going to go to the floor again. We're going to do a single leg bridge with a press. Okay. So I'm going to go down to the floor. Now, for a single leg bridge, for me personally, I typically like to have my feet roughly about hip width apart because this means I don't have to adjust a whole lot once again at that bridge position. Okay? So, the stick, you want to make sure we're gripping the stick a little wider than shoulder width. Okay? Just to make sure we got a good positioning here. All right? What I'm going to do from here is I'm going to have my elbow on the floor. This is my starting position. I'm going to start with my right leg. Okay? I'm going to start by bending my right leg. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to drive my hands to the floor, drive my hips up. Just going to lift this left leg off. Okay? So from here, drive up. Get to that top position, hold. Okay? Glutes should be firing. Drive the stick in. Try to shorten that stick. 50%. Push up. Push in, push harder. Pull it apart. Come down. Good. Bring that hip back down. And ease off tension. Good. Okay? So we're actually going to go from one side to the other because it's a long isometric hold. So, left leg's in the same position. So, right leg up, push through that heel, squeeze that glute, compress and shorten that stick, press up, nice and slow. Hold, pull apart, come back down. All the way, bring the hip down, and ease off. Good. Let's go and switch back to the right side. So when you want to work on that glute, if you're having a hard time connecting to the glute, you can always adjust your foot half a little, right? And make sure that your knee isn't buckling in when you're doing a bridge here. So, same thing. Lift it up. Bridge up. Get that full hip extension. Just make sure that glute's tight. Drive the stick in, push in. Try to shorten that stick, 50%. Push up. Keep on pressing that stick. Pull apart. Down. Bring the hip down. Ease off. Good. Let's go left side one last time here. Doing good, doing good. Okay. Front right leg up. Okay. Let's go bridge up here. Make sure the left glute is tight. Compress the stick. Try to shorten it. Push up. Breathe. Pull apart. Back down. Good. Bring the hip down. And ease off. Excellent. Good. Okay. Just a quick little bridge variation there. Okay. Now we're actually going to get into the deep fascial stretching. So we're actually going to start from a 90-90 position. And so what we're going to do here, our main focus is to stretch that front leg here. Okay. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take the stick and I'm going to place it in line. So my left leg is forward for one, right knee is back. Okay. And I'll actually face forward here. And what I'm doing here is I want to make sure that I'm in the 90-90 position the best I can be. If you have to go to a shin box where you pull in, that's fine too. Okay? So, left hip is forward. I'm going to have the stick in my left hand. Okay, I'm only going to need one stick for this. It's in line with my shin here. Where it is. Okay? Now, the objective here is to, for one, activate this front hip by driving the knee into the floor. The right hip is going to reflexively kind of push down a little bit, okay? We're only going to go about 20 to 30% activation here. I'm going to have my left hand on the stick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hinge forward. Really trying to get a stretch through the glute, okay? And exhale, rotate over the hip. Good. Body going forward. Pull it over, okay? Slowly pull it. Ease off, okay? You can adjust the stick if you need to. I'm going to slide my hand down a little bit more so I can actually hinge forward more. And I'm going to move the bottom of the stick out a little further as well. And so we're going to do that same thing again. Okay, drive this front leg down, okay, 20, 30%, and I'm going to hinge forward. Try to get your belly level close to your thigh. Three, two, one. Slowly come back up and ease off. Now we're going to switch sides, okay? So, left hip is back, okay? Right hip is forward. And then go through those same steps, okay? I'm going to start back a little further. Same thing, drive this front leg into the floor, so drive it down, 20, 30% tension. This left leg's going to reflexively push into the floor. Going to hinge forward. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back up. Excellent. Ease off. I'm going to adjust the stick and adjust my hand. Okay. Do that same thing again. One last time. Drive this hip, just knee into the floor, hinge forward. Pull the belly button down. 3, 2, 1, back up. Good, and ease off. Excellent. So I'm going to come out of that. I'm going to go to a standing position now. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to go into an adductor and hamstring stretch. But we're going to rock in and out of it here, okay? And so this one will actually go from the side. So I'm going to take a stance as wide as whatever's comfortable for you. If you're getting any pinching or any pain, just reduce the range of motion. Just wiggle your feet in a little closer here, okay? So I'm going to bring my feet out as wide as I'm comfortable with, okay? What I'm going to do here, I'm going to have the sticks angled out pretty far in front. Okay, this allows me, it's very similar to the hamstring activation drill that we did earlier, which is it allows me to kind of reach for something, okay, reach forward. This acts as a guide. The sticks are on my chest and shoulders, okay? Now, feet are gonna be angled out a slight bit, that's totally normal, okay? What I'm gonna do from here is I'm going to first drive the hips back, and we're gonna reach down towards the bottom of the sticks here. I want to try to keep as neutral of a spine as I can, okay? Now we're getting a stretch in the adductors a bit, getting a stretch in those hamstrings. Okay, if your hamstrings are particularly tight, you're going to get a huge stretch in the hamstrings here. Focus on your breathing, deep breaths. Going to slowly come back up. Excellent, okay. We're going to go into that again. This time we're going to shift our weight back and forth, okay, to increase the intensity of that stretch, okay? Deep breath in. Exhale, reach down towards the bottom of the stick, drive the hips back. Okay. Now to rock back and forth, I'm going to shift my hips forward, okay? Then I'm going to shift my hips back, sit back as far as I can. That's 1. Shift forward, breathe out. 2, forward, inhale, exhale, and shift back. 3. 4. 5. Let's go 3 more. 6. 2 more. 7. Last one. 8. Okay, back to neutral. Slowly come up. Okay, wiggle your feet in. Nice and slow. Don't go too fast. Okay, so now we're going to stretch out the hip flexors, okay? So for this, we're going to do that same thing that we just did for that adductor hamstring stretch, which is where we're working in and out of that intensity of the stretch, okay? We're going to do the same thing for this hip flexor stretch here, all right? So I'm going to have my right knee down, okay? And I got my left foot forward. Now, the basis of this is first thing we're going to do is just going to go through simple getting to the stretch here, and then we'll work in and out of it, okay? And you might notice that as we get into it, you might get a little bit further in that range of motion. So the bottom of the sticks are going to be in line with the toes of my front foot, so my left foot is forward, right foot is back. When I have that back foot, I want to have the top of my foot flat to the floor, so I'm plantar flexing that ankle here. I'm going to have my hands at roughly about shoulder height here. Now what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to first drive the sticks to the ground, about 20% tension. I'm going to drive the back foot into the floor. I'm going to squeeze my right glute and do a posterior pelvic tilt. Now for most people, this is a pretty intense stretch here. So hold, focus on your breathing. 3, 2, 1, good. Ease off. Excellent. So now we're going to do here, we're going to work in and out of that stretch, okay? So do not go too far into it. This should not be actual pain, okay? We're just going for a stretch. So drive the 6 down, 15, 20%. Drive that back foot into the floor. Squeeze the right glute and tuck the pelvis. Okay, I'm going to shift forward. Breathe out. Good, come back. Go again, still keep that tension. Back up. Breathe out. Up. Good, it's 4. Let's go 4 more. Breathe out. Excellent, back up. Breathe out. Good. 2 more. Breathe out. Last one. Breathe out. Good. Back up. Ease off and relax. Now we're going to switch sides. So this is a good way to kind of slowly open up those tissues. We're still getting that activation, right? But it's a kind of way to, again, to kind of open up the tissues and allow them to open up more, focusing on the breath work as we get into it, okay? So we're going to do that same thing. Right foot is forward, okay? Plantar flex on that back ankle here, okay? Drive the 6 down, 15 to 20% tension. Drive that back foot into the floor. Squeeze the left glute and do a posterior tilt. Focus on your breathing. Deep breaths here, people, deep breaths. Ease off. Good. Now we're going to do it again, okay? Drive the 6 down, drive that back foot down. Good. Squeeze that left glute and tuck the pelvis. Going to shift forward. Up. Exhale. Back up. Good. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 1 more. 8. Excellent. Good. Slowly come up. Wonderful. Good. That concludes today's Sigma Mobility class. Thank you again, everybody, for joining me for today's class. Hope everybody had a good one and you enjoyed it. Be sure to catch the rest of our stuff. Catch you guys next time. Have a good one.